Yeah.
I'm also from Buffalo, North Buffalo, originally.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
grew up off Hurdle on Shoshone.
Get
I
out of here. That's like right
Yes,
down the street, kind of.
yes. And you're from the East Side, right?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And you're are you teaching at Buffalo State College?
So I am on the board of foundations there, and I did teach for a little bit, but then I got involved in a couple projects. So I haven't taught this semester.
Okay.
But yes, I
Well,
did. Yes.
that's my alma mater. I
Get
graduated.
out of here.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
That's
graduated in
crazy.
2005. I heard your stuff on WBFO, The Bridge.
Oh, nice. I love the bridge. They're
Yeah, it's
very
a
supportive.
very cool station. And Tom Calderon, do you know who Tom Calderon is? The president of the station.
Familiar with the name.
He
I
also
don't
went
know
to
if I
Buff
met.
State, and
Wow.
he lived in New York for a period of time. He was the vice president of MTV, and I'm in touch with him. So he's a really cool guy, and he knows he knows the stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really cool, a really cool station. Um, so we're gonna get into it. Where did you get AI the Anomaly moniker from?
Yeah, so AI, so I'll tell the story like this, right? In making the ultimate decision to pursue music, I knew that, you know, it is something that I love and but it's also business. And so I knew I had to develop a brand. And for
Uh,
me, if I'm going to develop a brand, being that I'm, within business, I wanted to have a brand that meant made sense for who I am. So my name is Itina, starts off with AI. And in my life, I truly believe that, I want to take on this idea of going all in. So AI literally stands for all in. And I felt like that sums up who I am as an individual, kind of taking on that Bible scripture that talks about doing everything, um, uh, approaching things with excellence. And so I want to give it my all. I want to put my all into whatever it is that I'm doing. So AI, that's what it stands for, all in.
I love it. Do you want me to refer to you by AI the Anomaly in the article, or just Itina, or both?
Itina/AI is good,
Okay,
you
okay,
know.
okay. Your vocals and lyrics are spot on, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Where did you get the inspiration to start with music in Buffalo?
Yeah, yeah, of course. So music came about kind of after like my first love, which is writing. And growing up, being that I was in the foster care system and was going through some traumatic situations, I had to go to counseling. And I was diagnosed as emotionally handicapped. And through the counseling process, I was given something to write with. This one particular counselor said, "Hey, look, I noticed that you're having some hard times, with your emotions. So write down how you feel." So started off as drawing, and then I started to write, and then naturally, writing turned into poetry, kind of storytelling. During that time, I got involved with hip hop. And so, I got involved in like writing down raps and stuff like that. So I fell in love with telling stories, not only through like poetry and storytelling, but also through music and what um what cadences and being able to have that challenge of writing within bars and fitting them into bars, but telling a story that's compelling, but also utilizing these other literary elements. It was just interesting to me. So I started tapping into music in that way as well.
Very cool. A side note,
Mhm.
Dante Ross, do you know who he is?
I don't know if I'm familiar with that
I
person.
think he's a famous author. I saw him in a Q&A here in New York City,
Mhm.
and he's following you on Instagram.
Oh wow!
He's a famous hip hop author. You got to look him up. I think he's following you on Insta,
Wait a minute, let me see.
because
Say
I'm
it
following
again.
him on Insta and he's following you on Insta. So I'm like, holy cow.
What's his name?
Dante Ross.
Dante Ross.
Yep. You find him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Author of The City Owner Modern Folklore.
Yes.
Sweet. I
Yeah.
follow him too.
Yeah. He's
I think he just recently started following me and I followed him back.
yeah, he's a hip hop entrepreneur, connoisseur. How do you say connoisseur? Connoisseur?
I
Yeah.
know what you mean.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all good. Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
what's up.
yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Get Focused Productions. When did you
Mhm.
find the time to put that together, and what does it mean for you to have started the company?
Yeah, so Get Focused Productions, I started about 12 years ago. Um, and I think for the most part, like I was into photography and videography at a very young age, like 15 or so. I got into a program and learned about it. And I started to tap into these entrepreneurship skills because of this program that kind of taught us how to handle ourselves with respect and be professional. And it really opened up my mind to the possibilities of entrepreneurship, but I never really thought that I would take on that role until or thought it was even possible until I got older when I started to feel as though okay, let me see if I can actually take on clients as a photographer and do some video. What do I need to do? And so I went through the process of, get your DBA and all of these things. And so I went through that process. And that I learned so much throughout the process and learned how to add value to not only my business, but self. And then it kind of warped into what it is today, which, we have a collection of creative partners. We have about 15 creative partners who we collaborate with in telling stories. So it's all about this idea of capture, teach, give back. And so we capture through photography and film human first stories, and it's all project based. And then I do a lot of teaching. That's my background. I love education. I love to make something come to life for students. And then giving back to the next generation of creatives, and we do that in multiple ways. If it's just mentorship or giving of our time or what have you to these different entities that work with youth, or just utilizing the platform for emerging artists to get their hands dirty and just learn the industry, not only the skills as far as here's how to use a camera or here's how to tell stories or video, what have you, but the soft skills that it takes to continue the process in being an entrepreneur or a professional. So communication skills, being professional, interpersonal skills, teamwork, and things like that. So we develop a lot of those skills right on production sites, and we partner up with a lot of different organizations and companies to help these emerging artists. Had no idea we'd get to this point, but I'm very grateful, very,
Yeah,
very grateful that we've been able to be as successful as we have been.
very cool. Is it just mostly photography, or is it music, or is it everything encapsulated into one?
So yeah, thanks for asking. So what it is ultimately is this hub of storytelling. And so we work with a lot of different organizations, companies, and individual clients to support their process through create like how do we help your brand through the art of storytelling.
I
And
see.
so it's these short form content pieces that are more so human first story based.
Uh-huh.
And then we don't really do music videos or anything like that. I am a client as a musician, so there are videos that are come to life through that way. But for the most part, we do short form content and we do project based videos or visual stories that carry a certain project on for a particular amount of time
I
for
see.
different nonprofit organizations.
Very cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, well, I have a few more questions to ask you. Your style of you touch upon this in Facts, the song,
Hmm.
and your style of music is like I gotta say like Queen Latifah
Oh, shoot. Thanks.
no, seriously, like it doesn't touch upon the scene today because all the female rappers are like twerking it.
There they are. They twerking for sure.
But you touch upon this in your lyrics in
Mhm,
facts, the song.
mhm.
Where do you fit in? Where do you think you fit in into this whole realm of like conscious rap, female conscious rap? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I feel like I fit in near where Rhapsody is, if you will. You know, I fit in somewhere between Rhapsody and maybe Tierra Whack,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
I love that.
perhaps. But, you know, I feel like I also come to the table with a very deep love for jazz too. Which I would say somewhere is a mixture of maybe like Lauryn Hill and Roberta Flack, you know, or
Yeah,
maybe even a hint of Ella Fitzgerald, um, you know what I'm saying? And then like Raw Digger, you know,
nice.
so just trying to bring in these elements or like Sister Soldier,
Oh
you know,
yeah, I
I'd like
remember.
to say.
Yeah,
So I have this heart to be a force with my words. But also I want to carry it with this gentle nature as well. It's like within my nature is natural to me. So there's this spontaneity, but also this intentionality that jazz has.
yeah,
But direct, intense aggression as hip hop does, you know. So
yeah.
it's a mixture. So
Good
I say
mix.
I fit there, you know, but that's in my own right and in my own thoughts.
Okay,
But in the mainstream, I don't know where they would fit me, you know, right now.
right.
Perhaps they would fit me where I say, you know, I would assume so. But but yeah, for the most part, I'd say in that space, you know.
I think it's what you're doing is very refreshing, to say the
Thank
least.
you.
Um, did you ever think about getting out of Buffalo and doing your music full time?
So I do music. It's funny. I do music full time to some degree. The business, Get Focus Productions, takes up a lot of time, and I am grateful for it. You know, but I have a tendency to merge mediums, and so
Yeah,
I utilize all of the skills that I have, and I merge them together to work within that space. As a creative, like I get to do that. You know, so I still do music, you know, I travel and I perform and I speak and things like that. Um, I also utilize it in projects that we work in as well. Like, so for example, right now we're working on the fourth rendition of a project called Tales from the Porch, where we're telling community stories. Right now we're focused on 5 artists that live within Buffalo. And the whole idea is art is a language and every medium is a different dialect. Well, this film is a film that kind of showcases and gives their voices or amplifies their voices. The soundtrack is my original music, myself and my producer, Carolina Blue. The
okay.
music is what we created for this particular project on purpose. And then there's music videos that go with it. So I basically created a soundtrack for the docu series that we are putting together right now. So I'm always trying to figure out how do I involve all the parts of who I am into the work that I'm doing. So
Sure.
yes, I'm a producer, director, I'm a musician, I rap, I do poetry, I speak. How do you merge all of those mediums together so that, you know, you're utilizing 100% of yourself for what purpose? And that purpose is to share stories to the community in order to ignite thought and expand perspectives.
Right. Well, I'm sure you've heard of Griselda.
Oh, of course. Of course. I'm
I think
Buffalo.
everyone has now.
Yeah,
But they got out of Buffalo, and I mean, Benny the Butcher's doing his thing.
of course.
Kanye, I
Hmm.
mean, it's crazy. They're infiltrating the
So
mainstream now. It's crazy. I think it's awesome, but I think it's
it
just like,
is.
and their music is just amazing. Like
It
it's so
is.
gritty, you know,
It is gritty.
nothing like hip hop today.
Yeah. But I
Anyways,
feel like
uh,
Buffalo has always been like that's our hip hop.
yeah,
We've always been gritty. We've always
yes,
rapped the way we've rapped. It's just that Griselda has, during this particular peak time, has cracked open a space to where most people would hear a certain style of rap, they're put on to what we've been doing since I could remember.
Right.
Buffalo's been rapping like this for a while. It's like our style.
Sure, sure, sure. Um, how important is music and the arts to you, especially nowadays when it's going to I
It
mean, it's not like music journalism is
Yeah,
really going down the gutter as we speak.
really.
I think it is.
Yeah.
There's there's many there's many places that are closing up shop, especially
Uh,
here in New York. There's not many magazines anymore. That's all online.
oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
the staffs are getting laid off, cut, whatever the case might be. But on your end, what do you think? Do you think it's flourishing?
I feel like for me personally, I have a creative approach that allows for whatever that I'm doing to refresh and renew in some kind of way. I refuse to allow for my creativity to die. So I'm always trying to figure out a way to revitalize or allow for people to see it in a different way. And
Yeah,
that's like a creative problem solving process. In what ways do I, allow for people to feel this particular song in a different way? Or in what ways can I utilize sound and music scapes in order to bring people into this fold? In what ways can I use my cadence in a different way that maybe no one has heard me do it in a certain way, but my context, the what I'm saying, what I'm speaking about doesn't really change. So yes, in a sense, I look around the landscape when it comes to music or hip hop, and yeah, it is kind of plummeting in a sense of I think people are kind of tired of hearing the same things. This is
yeah,
what I'm thinking about as far as my circle or circumference of people, if you will. They're kind of tired of hearing the same kind of themes in the same kind of way, and everybody's kind of regurgitating the
yeah,
same things. And so there needs to be some sort of a renaissance of like, let's talk about real things like regular life. I'm not in a club shaking it or whatever. You
yeah,
know, I'm I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a mother, I'm a wife. Like talk to me about that. I'd love to hear those perspectives. But I think that the more that people embrace the fact that real people just need real people to talk about real things, I
yes,
think perhaps we'll get some different styles, but it is apparent, like it is happening. It's just I don't know how much on the main stage it's happening, especially for women.
yeah, I
Like
agree.
you get your men, and they kind of get to, talk about a wide range of things and kind of be okay. But when it comes to women, it's almost as if they want us in one way. And if it's a different way, there's specific women who can. You think of it, like I said, Tierra Whack,
Yeah,
dope, creative, amazing. You think of Little Sims, right? You think of there's a couple of different ones that are very eclectic and different. But unfortunately, I don't see enough just regular, women who just out here just rapping, but on a high level. Like they always have to be like there's always has to be this extra thing, you know,
yeah,
or they have to be, talking about how they hate their baby dads.
yeah. Well, no, that was well put. That was well put. Who is your favorite hip hop artist, like past or present, and why?
Oh man,
Do you have one favorite or
that's a tough one. Because there's a lot of them that I like for many different reasons. So what I'll do is I'll say two how I feel in this moment, what comes to my mind. On one front, and I'm more in between like Lauren Hill and Sister Soldier. Now, understanding that Sister Soldier, it wasn't as if she did a lot. I feel like Lauryn Hill obviously did a lot more within hip hop. Sister Soldier, because there's something about her that was militant and revolutionary, just the same as Lauren, but she just was like, I'm about to tell y'all like it is. And Lauren did it too, where they set in circles of certain people on higher levels in high education, but also political figures. And she was killing it with her hoop earrings and the bamboo
Yes.
earrings and the hair. And it was
Thread.
up, and it was like
Yes.
I could see myself in her, but I could
Yes.
also see myself in Lauren Hill too. And the message she was given, I felt like, man, like she's elegant, but
Yes.
still hood. She's
Yes.
professional and still has heart. And I
Yes.
love that about both of them. But I'd also say like I truly love Kendrick
Oh,
for
yeah,
so many
definitely.
different reasons. But and then the same breath, I'd say like Childish Gambino,
Uh-huh.
or Danny Glover,
Yeah.
Donald Glover. Um, Kendrick, because he has a sense of mystery and creativity. His bars are just really on point. He does not he's not afraid to say what he needs to say. His
Right.
context is or his content within his music still touches on real themes that can you can listen to it and be touched and want to change, but he still keeps it real. And then you have like Donald Glover, who is a fascinating creative who can touch all types of genres, but his music too is like just different, eclectic, but he's still talking about some good themes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
definitely.
for so many different reasons, I say I said I was only gonna say two, but I said four.
No, that's fine. That's cool. That's cool. Um, your positivity, inspiration, glow through your art and music. Who do you owe it to, and where did it come from?
Yeah, I would say first and foremost, my faith in God is what keeps me positive because I know that ultimately He will win, through the darkness that we see within the world or what have you. Like, ultimately, He will win. So it's nothing else I can do but to stay positive because He's won. Um, I'd also say, like, my upbringing, to come from a situation where I was told that I'd be a failure to thrive, diagnosed emotionally handicapped. My
Right.
mother was, dealing with substance abuse
Right.
due to her own situations. My father was kind of, um, wasn't in my life until I was about 16. I grew up with some heftiness. And with this foster child and all the statistics against me, I shouldn't be here, but I am because the community saw something within me and gave me opportunities, and not just specifically me, but gave the community opportunities and young people like me. And I took on those opportunities, took advantage of them, and I was able to create something for myself. And so no longer like this is why I go so hard with the younger generation. I'm not just talking about youth, like, teenagers and things like that. I'm talking about young adults who grow up thinking that they aren't enough because of where they come from or because of their skin color or because of their circumstances. And then you start having this victim mentality. I'm a I'm an example of the fact that yes, I started off in this situation, but because of certain things that came and disrupted that, I was able to make something out of myself. So I have no choice but to be positive. There's some negative days and negative things that happen, but at the end of the day, like as long as I'm breathing, I got reason, you know.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I love that. Um,
Thank
your last album was a little bit more aggressive than
you. Yeah.
Acrylic.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that, real quick?
Yeah, me and my bro Selah the Corner and Carolina Blue. Selah is a great friend of mine. I call it he's like my brother at this point. And Carolina Blues, like my brother as well. Carolina Blue is a producer, audio engineer here in Buffalo, and who has done a lot of music with a lot of different people, even Griselda.
Oh, cool.
We came together as a cohort because we just love the same things. We love gritty hip hop. And so there was something that we were working on, me and Sailor were working on that brought him to Buffalo. He lives in Yonkers.
Oh, okay.
And we talked about just going up to the studio and just kind of chilling together. And so chilling turned into a whole project. So When Carolina Blue start putting his gritty beats on, whatever came out was whatever came out. Whatever was on our mind at that time, came out. And, I feel like we created something that was really aggressive, but elegant.
Yeah.
It was like a mixture. It was truly a sibling rivalry. It was a fight, on wax, if you will. I had
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
fun with it. Like that's how I started off, gritty rap, ciphers.
I mean, I think acrylic is a little bit more mellow on the mellow side,
Hmm.
in my
It
opinion,
is.
than
It is.
Pepper. So I don't know, it's my opinion. Um, any last thoughts and what's next for you?
So right now, like I said, I'm working on the fourth rendition of Tales from the Porch. As you know, like I shared, there's a soundtrack which will be an album. We may make it into two EPs. I'm not sure yet, but there is music coming out. We had dropped three songs last year: Bonnets and Bantus, Don't Eat Crow, and then Hakima.
Okay.
As far as music is concerned. So there is a project that is in the works that we hope to have out hopefully by the summer. Um,
Is it just your solo material or does it involve the whole group again?
no, it's just music by me. I think I have a couple of features on there.
Okay.
And I always like to look at my engineer as a feature too, because he's an artist, you know what I'm saying? So his music is definitely infused into the process, Carolina Blue. So yeah, there's that. And then right now I'm partnered up, or Get Focus Productions is partnered up with a college, and we are working with those students to give them hands-on opportunities to work within this project, Tales from the Porch. So they're also creating content. They're learning about how production works, and they'll be, grafted in this process of putting together this documentary as well. So that's going on. And then a couple other things, like I said, I work with Buffalo State. We're working really hard on giving opportunities to these college students who are coming into financial issues. And we're able to utilize some funding so that they can stay in college. So that's a huge thing that I'm proud to be part of on a committee called the Grit Scholarship. Just really giving these opportunities to students to be able to stay in college, finish it up without leaving with an enormous amount of debt. So I'd
Yeah,
say those are the biggest things that I have a lot of things going on, but I'd say those are most notable at the moment, besides being the best wife I could be and the best mom I could be to my two children.
that's awesome. Thank you for your time. I really do
Of course.
appreciate this.
I
And,
appreciate you. I'm
and
glad we're able to do it. I enjoy having conversations.
me
Like,
too.
yeah. So I appreciate it.
I do this all the time, believe me.
Sweet.
I'm gonna have this published within the week once I'm feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for your time again. I appreciate AI.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.